I'm going to start talking about some of my leather jackets in my collection. It's just a passion of mine, and I find it interesting because it brings up so many other interesting things to talk about. For instance, this morning I was kind of farting around on YouTube, and I was watching some stuff on Fonz. And I met Henry Winkler one time, and we were talking, and we never got around to the jacket conversation. I was in full motorcycle regalia, you know, when I met him. Cuffed Levi's, engineer boots, leather. It might have been this jacket, which is what we're going to talk about in a minute. But we talked about the motorcycle situation with him on Happy Days, and he couldn't really ride and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't ask him about the jackets, because if you watch that show, early on, he was wearing a zippered windbreaker. Very much like what James Dean wore in Rebel Without a Cause, which was, it's a clear tie-in there. Absolutely, they did that on purpose. But when they did put him in a leather jacket, he was not in your standard black motorcycle biker jacket. Ironically, he played a character in a film called The Lords of Flatbush, where he did wear a jacket like that, and which I believe he still has. And that's more of a tough guy look. You know, Brando kind of made that super popular in The Wild One. And so this style jacket became synonymous with biker gangs and hooligans and hooliganism and all that stuff. So I'm sure Happy Days, the producers of Happy Days, put him in the jacket they put him in, which for those of you that don't understand what it was he wore a brown leather aviator style jacket, World War II-esque design. Been around for a very long time. Very cool jacket, but, you know, more wholesome. And it was a wholesome TV show, right? It was a family-based show, so it made sense they put him in a brown leather aviator jacket versus your standard typical biker jacket, which is what this basically is. And it's an interesting story, this jacket, and I wanted to talk about it because it's very cool. I used to ride motorcycles all over the place, and I had a lot of my friends don't remember, but I actually had a motorcycle in high school. They hardly ever saw me on it because it scared the hell out of me, and I also had a car. I preferred the car. But for a long time out here in LA, I rode a motorcycle everywhere. I did a lot of road trips on a motorcycle, and I always had a leather jacket. And I'm into gear. I'm into quality stuff. So I really learned a lot. And, you know, all the different brands, you know, Schott and Vanson and Brent, and, you know, there's Buco was a classic. And that's basically what this jacket is. Right. Now, there's a place here. They now call it the Melrose Trading Post, and back in the day we just called it the Fairfax Swap Meet. And there was this little guy there, and he had leather jackets. And I was just in a habit of checking out what he would have every time I went there. And one day, I went, and by the way, I had this really bad habit of buying any decent quality leather jacket I came across that actually fit me, because I'm not an easy guy to fit. I'm between a 46 and a 48. I'm only 5'9", and with that size upper body, when you're not super tall, everything else is huge on you. So if I found something that fit me, I bought it. And this jacket fit me. And I was looking at it. It had mismatched zippers, and it's got this, you know, nice lining in it. And it was obviously it was brand new, never been worn. I couldn't figure it, and the leather felt a little different to me than what I was used to. And I recognized it as a Buco. I mean, the style. Buco style. It's got everything on it that the Bucos have. D pocket, coin pocket, and these little zippers back here, what these pockets are for here are for your passenger. So when you ride the bike, you got your gal pal on the back there, she's got her hands inside those pockets, keeps her hands warm. Very cool detail. They don't put that in leather jackets anymore. And it was funny because on the collar, there was a piece of tape and it said $360. And I thought, I don't know, man, that's a lot of money for a jacket that I don't understand. I just didn't understand this jacket. There's flags going off in my head, you know. Now, a little old guy that usually was there, he wasn't there that day. His son was there, and he gave me a price of $160 for it. And then in my mind, that was a whole other thing. I thought, that's not enough money, right? So I thought it was cheap or something. I just didn't buy it. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I went back the next week, and the little old guy was there, and I saw the jacket, and I said, hey man, is this still $160? He goes, oh no. Oh, no, are you kidding me? That's a $400 jacket. That's Horsehide. I'm like, that's not Horsehide. Now here's where I got educated. I don't know everything. I do not pretend to know everything. And this guy starts telling me it's Horsehide, and I said, doesn't feel like it. I was used to modern horsehide jackets. If you pick up a modern, new horsehide jacket, it is thick, stiff leather. And here's where the education came in. He explained to me, first he says to me, he says, I know what that jacket is because I made that jacket. This guy used to have his own leather shop, and he made this jacket with his own 2 hands. And what it is, it's not just horsehide. This is front quarter horsehide, which is a little thinner, which is why I didn't understand the feel of it. And he explained this process to me, where in the old days, all horsehide jackets were front quarter horsehide, because they didn't actually have the proper tanning process to use the rear of the horse. So if you had a jacket, or they didn't even make it, because if you tried to make a jacket out of the rear part of the horse, it would tear up real easy. But the tanning methods have improved since the old days, and now they can use the whole horse and get a thicker leather, and that's why modern horsehide jackets are a lot thicker and stiffer. So he schooled me on this whole thing. And he's telling me this, and he goes, I can prove to you I made it, and he pulls out a Buco, a real Buco jacket. By the way, if you can find a Buco leather jacket, it's in good shape, and you can get that for next to nothing, pick it up because it's worth quite a bit of money. Anything Buco is worth some coin. So, obviously it was too small. The original, he had this original Buco hanging on the hanger, and I think it was like a 38 or something. And he had this woman that worked for him for a short period of time, and she wanted this jacket for her boyfriend, and she never actually paid for it, so he got stuck with it. He liked me so much, we had such a good rapport, he sold me this jacket for $160. So that's the story of this one-of-a-kind, handmade, front quarter horsehide jacket. And it's funny, I put my little Eagle Globe and Anchor right here on the lapel, and you know, my most recent video I talk about boot camp, but the reason I did that was there was a great show in the 80s called Wise Guy, Ken Wall, and his character had that. And I remember thinking, I wear a leather jacket, why don't I do that? So that's what that's all about. But front quarter horsehide, Buco, copy, American motorcycle jacket. Pretty badass. More to come on that. Have a good day.